In this video, we're going to talk about how to glue your kendama spike, or use spike armor as we like to call it. And the reason that you want to do that is because any wooden kendama, the spike naturally breaks down as you start to do some different tricks. So I'll show you a little experiment that we did here at learnkendama.com. You can see this is a kendama. I opened both of these at the same time, and then I glued the tip on this one. I didn't glue this one. And what I did is I did the same tricks and the same amount of the tricks on both kendamas over and over again for about a period of 3 weeks. And you can see just how dull this tip got. And this one here that I glued, the tip is actually still very sharp. It still looks like it came out of the box, minus that it's glued. And what's also neat is that this kendama that I didn't glue, I stopped using after the 3-week period, but I've still been playing with this one for about 6 months, and it's one of my main kendamas. You can see the spike is still really good. And so that's the benefit of gluing, is it helps to make your kendama last longer. It really helps keep just the value of that kendama for you so that you can continue doing all the tricks that you need. So to get started, what you're going to want is a paper towel, help protect from getting glue on any surfaces. You'll want a paper clip. You'll need your super glue or spike armor, as we call it here. Depending on what kind of super glue that you use, they work a little different. And what we did is we went out and we found what we thought was the best super glue, the one that really got into the pores of the wood the best, that was the right thickness, the right type. And so we've made that readily available to you, our customers. That's called spike armor. It's right on our store. You'll also want, depending on the glue that you have, you may need to cut the tip or puncture it with a pin, which is what you have to do with the spike armor. Either of those will work. You may also want some tissue to help wipe away any excess. But one note is that if you're not using spike armor, some of the super glues will actually dry very quickly, and if you try to wipe away the excess with a tissue, that tissue will actually stick to the spike of the ken. So if you're not using spike armor, you may want to avoid the tissue. Another thing is make sure that you're being safe. Try to avoid getting the glue on your hands or anything like that, and of course along anything else. So what you're going to do to start this off is open up your glue, and when you look at the spike of a kendama, you can see we've got the very tip of it here, and then it comes down, it kind of widens out and levels off here where it becomes part of the shaft. And when we glue the spike, we actually want to do it from about here towards the tip. So you want to try to avoid getting too close to this leveled off part that becomes the shaft. And the reason for that is that gluing that area will cause the glue to break down a little bit faster. It might interrupt some tricks. Some other things that may interrupt tricks is if you put on too much glue or you glob it on, it'll form like a hard casing around the spike. And what will happen is as you're playing with that, it'll break and fall off, and you'll have to reapply the glue sooner. And what's great about the spike armor that we have is that it helps to avoid that. It really gets into those pores, and it's just the right type of glue that keeps it from coagulating quite that way. So when you're ready, I've already punctured the hole of my glue, so I don't need my tip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a very light amount. I go right about in the center of the tip. I let just a little bit come out, and what you're going to notice is as it's coming out, I've really got a very little amount coming out. You may need to re-puncture your tip a little bit. Pull that out, and when the glue starts to come out, you really want to apply just a very thin layer. So you can see that the color of the tip starts to change, and that's really all I'm aiming for here, is just getting the color of the wood to change. Any thicker than that and it'll start to stick to itself rather than really binding into the pores of the wood. And you're just going to go around the whole spike kind of like this, just getting it all a little bit wet with the glue, and you can see that color change. And then what I like to do at the very end of it is I take the paper clip and I like to smooth it out and scrape just towards the tip, and that helps to keep the glue from sticking to itself or piling up. Make sure I get any excess off with that. And if you happen to get any down on the shaft, that's when you can take the tissue paper and kind of wipe that off. But again, you can see just how much space I left, so that I didn't really get down towards that shaft. And the one thing, you can put the kendama on something or just hold it. The glue usually only takes, I give it 2 or 3 minutes to kind of harden before I apply my second coat. Usually I'll apply 2 or 3 coats. And the benefit of holding it upside down is that if there's just a little bit too much excess, it will run down towards the tip of the spike rather than coagulating in any one area. I'll apply my second coat a little faster here, but just once it's dried, you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to bring it out again. Sometimes on my second coat, I'll try to get a little closer to that area that flattens out near the shaft. But it's the same thing, a very, very light coat again, because if you put too much on, it sticks to itself and the coat breaks down faster. If you do this just right and you get the glue and everything set up right, you shouldn't need to reapply the glue later on. It should last a really long time, but at any point if you notice that the glue is breaking down or just that your spike is becoming more damaged than you like, you can always feel free to go through the gluing process again. Just put on another coat here and there as you see fit. But that is how you glue the spike on your kendama.